Both come to Asheville, North Carolina to enjoy the mountains and the outdoors. They also come to win Southern Conference championships. Today, the women's title will be waged. The #1 Samford Bulldogs against the 3rd seed Uncg Spartans. Here's how we've arrived. Samford taking care of business in its first 2 games, including Friday's semifinal win by 30 points over Furman. Uncg had to outlast 2-time reigning champion Mercer in overtime, the Spartans advancing with a 2-point win. Hi, friends, and welcome in with Robin Muller, Pete Kennedy with you. So here we are on Championship Sunday. The Samford Bulldogs, they got the #1 overall seed coming out of a 3-way tie for first in the regular season. A true surprise in the league this year.
And they were picked pretty low in the preseason polls. However, you combine a new coach with a new style of play, you never know what happens. And with this particular team, a lot of weapons, balanced scoring. You get a lot of different things happening. One of those weapons, Paige Syrup, an unsung hero in my mind. She's the kind of player that every successful team wants to have. She's going to do the little things. She's going to work for things that don't show up in the stat sheet. But in the semifinals, she showed up in the stat sheet with those 19 points, 72% from the floor, and defensively had 5 steals in that particular game. She has some help, though, and that's the interior presence of Natalie Armstrong. She is the go-to on the inside. You're going to see a lot of passing into her. Ball will go to and through her, but she will have her hands full on the other end of the floor with Asia Boyd and Taja Twitty. 50 points between them in that semifinal game. The rest of the team just 25. If Samford can control one of them, they probably will be successful.
And those two combined for nearly 50 points in 2 losses against Samford this year. But of course, March is all about magical moments. And the Uncg team possesses the Player of the Year in the SoCon. And what a moment she had on Friday in the win against Mercer. In this overtime period, Solomon defended by Neil Tizer. 5 seconds to go. Solomon, you know she wants to spin to the lane. 1 second, forces, she got it! Nadine Solomon with the winning bucket with what turned out to be 0.2 of a second left at OT. Uncg advanced. Let's welcome in the 3rd member of our team, Aaron Summers. Aaron?
Thanks, Pete. On the opposite side, the Samford Bulldogs first-year head coach Carly Coons has led this team from preseason of 7th to a 1st seed in the tournament. Coons said that they are here this week to earn everyone's respect. Her Bulldogs are out to prove to people that they are a force to be reckoned with.
Nadine Solomon and the Uncg Spartans trying to bring the school their first Southern Conference women's title since 1998. Samford won back-to-back crowns, their lone titles back in 2011 and 12. These teams meeting for just the 2nd time in the tourney. They last met in 09, so it's been a while since they went at it on the floor with a title on the line or looking to advance. So I got to tell you a quick story. After the game the other day, I went over to Nadine Solomon and I said, I'm not so sure that I'm still pronouncing your name correctly. A phonetic I'd received a couple of years ago. She's a senior now and has been a great player for them. It had it a different, and I was saying it differently, you may have heard it, and she said it's Nadine Solomon, very kindly to me. So she's Nadine Solomon for our game today. A denial inside, but then the cleanup. And Aja Boyd has the first bucket of our championship game. A 3-pointer, a big weapon, of course. Let's hear more from Aaron.
It's interesting to point out the Spartans didn't have a 3 at all yesterday in the game. That was the first time in over 2 years of play. Today, they already are 2 for 2.
Another of the Sage veterans on this Samford team, the junior post player, working hard against Aja Boyd. That's going to be a battle we'll see throughout the game. Samford's moved back in front by a point.
And Sarah Myers for Samford brings another one of those scoring weapons. She's one of 4 in double figures in the semifinals, and so it is significant that she's on the bench at this point in time.
Aaron has more on the native of Cairo, Egypt.
Coach Patterson calls her guard, Nadine Solomon, big time. She said she tells her every game before it starts, let's go big time. She said she was especially going to count on her during the tournament. She said, I'm going to need you to make some really big plays. We saw that on Friday night with the buzzer beater, beating win in overtime. Nadine said that her teammates trust her and that she's just able to make the plays that they need in the big moments.
had a fine year, but they were turned back by Samford, which broke the code in their third meeting. And a UNCG team that a year ago was bounced in the opening round against Chattanooga, but they had a phenomenal campaign with a Player of the Year and great talent around her. Sarah from downtown, she got it going from long range the other day. 3 straight double-figure scoring games for her. She's had a total of 6 on the season. Playing for the last shot at Samford. They'd love to take a lead into the halftime locker room. They will, but would certainly like to build on it. And Crown, that time beyond the arc to beat the buzzer. And in the quarter, Samford outscoring UNCG 16-4. They turned a 7-point deficit into a 7-point lead.
Not a lot of space, but she's well beyond that men's arc and shooting that with confidence. These seniors for the Samford team really stepping it up. You can tell how hungry they are.
Aaron Summers will visit with the head coach, Carly Coons of Samford. Aaron?
Coach, from down 7 to up 7 in a matter of a quarter, what changed?
You know, I think we were early in this tournament, we've relied on our defense. I think we got a little anxious in the nerves, you know, missed a couple easy bunnies and just put the pressure back on our defense to get stops and rebounds and let that fuel our offense. And I think we did that, settled into their pressure a little bit, took care of the ball, took better shots, and then, you know, and hit some big shots there in that quarter.
What can you do to remain settled in the next 20 minutes?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to handle their pressure. I think that they're going to continue to pressure the ball really, really hard. So our ability to handle the ball and then not give up any offensive rebounds and some of those cheap fouls that put them on the free throw line will hopefully help us extend this.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Carly Coons, her first SoCon tourney as a head coach, her first title game, and her team in front by 7. Well, in that opening half, the Bulldogs of Samford and the Spartans of UNCG swapped leads. Here at the break, the number 1 seed has the advantage. Well, at some point, that guy is going to make that ball go through a hoop. Samford did just that quite a bit in quarter number 2, and as a result, has a 7-point lead here at the break in Asheville. Robin Muller, Pete Hannity back with you. And a tale of first quarters, I think, is the most obvious way to point out the first half. UNCG in the opener.
Yeah, UNCG had it going on in the first quarter. Samford took up the heat in their defense, flipped the script, essentially. Be interesting to see who comes out and can exert their will early in the second half.
You notice UNCG was attacking against that Samford zone early on, while Samford trying to get it done with Natalie Armstrong.
When you can get an isolation, big on big, it's a matter of finessing your shots in. Natalie Armstrong did just that, but she has her hands full on the defensive end as well. Asia Boyd, no slouch in the paint, and she can shoot up and over the big girl.
And a UNCG team that got off to a good start scoring, but went through a long drought without a field goal from late in the opening quarter till deep into the second quarter. As a result, the field goal percentage a big note. And
that 24% is actually generous because they are 10% in the second quarter, making just 1 field goal. Everything else is even until you get to the points in the paint. And Natalie Armstrong's getting the job done, but on a couple other occasions, the drive from Battle has come up with points as well.
You would think that Twitty and Boyd will be heard from UNCG in the second half. That guy certainly hopes so. 7-point game. We're back after this. Asia Twitty, Nadine Solomon, and UNCG looking to rally in the second half of action. They trail by 7. Moments ago, Aaron visited with their head coach.
Coach, you just mentioned that Samford's doing a good job on Nadine Solomon. How can you offset that?
Oh, we got to get her open. Her teammates need to set screens for her. Their 3-2 zone has been, they're really smothering her, so we got to get her open off the ball.
What else did you ask your team to focus on going forward?
We're going to continue to take away their 3-point game. They got away with 2 there, but that's one of the focuses, to eliminate the 3-point game.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Well, Robin, if they do that, then perhaps that could open up things for Armstrong in the paint.
It could, and you have to pick your poison sometimes, and that was one of the building blocks I had for UNCG. They have to challenge the arc.
5 on the shot clock. Sarah, runner, put back, battle.
How about battle? Coming from the weak side, anticipating, and it almost looked as if Sarah had put it up on the glass hard on purpose.
The gentleman you see sitting there, Kylie Hill, the head coach of Western Carolina. His team went against Samford in the opening round game of the tournament, the quarterfinals on Thursday, and he fell in a rebuilding process. His first year Western Carolina, watching the first year coach of Samford, Carly Coons, who played for him and then worked under him at Valdosta State. A really interesting story inside of the SoCon this year. And Aaron, based on our conversations, particularly with Carly the other day, you can tell they've got a neat relationship as Alexis Willie gives us a tie game at 34.
Absolutely, Pete. Samford Bulldog coach now, Carly Coons, said that it was very weird to look across the court and see her former coach, her mentor, Kylie Hill, head coach of Western Carolina, someone that they had to play against here. She said that it's been fun, though, being there on the same stage with him, somebody that she really looked up to. And for Hill, he said that it's been so awesome seeing Coons' success.
Tori Powell with a big answer. And UNCG moves back in front. First lead they've had in a long time.
Back-to-back threes. Sarah Meyer coming in off the bench and answering with a 2 and then a 3. We got a little shootout going on now.
Boy, it's suddenly amped up.
March is a wonderful time.
Going to the tournament for the first time.
Anything can happen.
And we will have a moment of our own within 7 minutes and 12 seconds, or maybe more than that, here in Asheville. Samford up by 4 on UNCG. Let's send it over to Aaron.
Coach Patterson pointed at Asia Boyd in the huddle, and she said, you have a decision to make. You can stop Natalie Armstrong or you can guard Sarah Myers. What do you want to do? Boyd said, I'll stop Natalie. So then Patterson looked at the rest of the players and said, okay, so now you guys have to guard Myers.
Alexis Willie. No one got out to guard her on the Samford side. Drains the tray. It's a 1-point game. Sarah up on the right wing. Dumping to Armstrong. Boy, they set that up beautifully.
Yeah, and that's Armstrong slipping the screen as the defense cheats up. And Sarah had her option to go either way. Myers was screening on the top side, Armstrong on the low side, but that cleared everybody out.
Willie is matched. His team is led by at least 7 points in this game. Great denial inside by Boyd.
And the difference here, Boyd is playing in front of Armstrong, not behind her. And Armstrong can't get those passes.
8th lead change just when it looks like Solomon's out of control. The ball goes in the basket.
Protected defensively, and here, the strong runner.
The go-to player for UNCG, and more on her from Aaron.
Solomon likes to be in this position. She said that on Friday night, she told her team that she had them, and she played like it in those last 16 seconds of that game. She said that she promised her teammates that they were going to make it to the championship game. It's exactly what they did. She said that she wants this win so bad.
UNCG, the unique distinction of having both players of the year in the Southern Conference this season. Isaiah Miller on the men's side, a junior, and Nadine Solomon on the women's side, a senior. It's only the UNCG women that have a chance to bring home a SoCon title this year for the Spartans. Up by 2, but Samford the ball. Who do they go to but Armstrong for the tie?
And Boyd is just getting manhandled by Armstrong. Whenever Natalie Armstrong can get Asia Boyd behind her on the backside, it's almost automatic. Teams having at least one offensive possession, and it's going to be big.
Armstrong backing in, kicking. Sarah thought about it. Shot clock at 10. Brown resets. Defended by Pitchford. Brown out high. Armstrong heaves the 3. Natalie Armstrong.
And yeah, it's simple. Give it to Nadine Solomon.
Well, they did on Friday. It was overtime against Mercer. They were tied. Would they continue on against the Bears, or would they hold seed and move forward? Nadine Solomon hit it Clock showed 1/10 of a second. They actually said it was 2/10 of a second. That was the winner against the Bears of Mercer. And on the season, a 23rd win for UNCG. They celebrated then. Will that celebration continue into Sunday?
Well, the biggest difference here is all they needed was 2. In order to tie this game, they're going to have to knock down a 3-pointer. Willie will probably be in the game. Powell, who has been successful from behind the arc. And Solomon certainly has that range.
Nadine Solomon has scored the last 6 UNCG points. If they are to win a championship, I have a feeling she's going to have to score 9 straight.
Well, and the message here when you're Trina Patterson, not only what the play is, but everybody's crashing the boards, because on a miss, you never know if that stick back's going to be there.
And the option, you could play just for 2 right now and then take your chances with a foul if you score quickly.
And it's harder in the women's game to do that because it takes longer for plays to materialize.
They've also got a good 3-point shooter on the floor in Willie, but Solomon will heave for the tie. It goes out of bounds, and Samford will get it back with 10.8 seconds to go.
Yeah.
She was way, way beyond the arc on that try.
And didn't need to take that. And as good as she is at putting the ball on the floor, you would have thought she'd at least get into the lane.
Long pass ahead, Brown. She can seal it.
Yep.
Appropriate, the senior with the dagger.
No fouls here.
Samford gets it back, and the Bulldogs will celebrate a SoCon Crown for the first time since 2012.
Unbelievable. Rally and finish. Rally, rally, rally. Both teams. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better final. Of course, if you're UNCG, you could ask for one thing to be better, but
what a game we had. And Natalie Armstrong, who led all scorers with 20 points, provides our Geico play of the game.
And what a clutch play it is. Shot clock's winding down. Charity Brown's in the paint and tosses it back out. Not a good pass. And who would think that your post player is the one to hit the 3 that seals the deal?
And let's also include Charity Brown in that, because her final assist in her record career in that category for the Samford Bulldogs leads to the basket that put the team ahead to stay and win another SoCon championship. Aaron is with Carly Coons, the first-year head coach and SoCon champion head coach of the Bulldogs.
Coach, what did it take from your team in order to carry them to this championship win?
You know, it took 40 minutes. I mean, it took 40 minutes of just toughness, of grit, of playing through those runs that we knew they were going to go on because they're a really good basketball team. Gosh, I'm overwhelmed just because of especially how it ended. Our ability to just make plays down the stretch. Our seniors stepped up, our big kids stepped up, and I couldn't be more excited for this team.
Emotionally, your first year as a head coach here, what does it make this run so special? I mean, how special is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's super special. It's especially it doesn't happen if that team doesn't buy in. I mean, my staff, every step of the way, from day one of us taking over this program, we knew we had the pieces to do something special, and I couldn't be happier for this team to be celebrating out here like this right now.
How excited are you to take this team to an NCAA tournament?
Yeah, it's going to be so fun. That's what you set out to do when you play basketball, when you're a little kid, and I'm just excited that we get to go do it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Samford's women's basketball team brings the Bulldog athletic program an 8th championship in a variety of sports, regular season and postseason, men's and women's, so far in this school year. They celebrate a title, the 3rd all-time in the SoCon. Robin, we enjoyed ourselves.
Absolutely.
A really good women's tournament and a fine title game.
It was great. I enjoyed every minute. Pete, Aaron, it's the best.
As always, a great pleasure bringing you the action. Samford wins 59-54. Later on, Dean Keener joins Aaron and me for the men's semifinals. For Robin Muller and Aaron Summers, Pete Hannity, this has been a presentation of ESPN.